It all started with me thinking that my dad was having an affair because he kept getting these weird phone calls when I was just 7 years old. That's when I made my parents get a divorce because it was so painful to see them together and knowing that they were cheating on each other, and then I grew up with this huge resentment towards men. I didn't want anything to do with them. When I was 21, I met this guy called Harry who worked for his dad's company. His dad was super rich, had all these businesses in real estate, and one day Harry sent me a message saying, "You look beautiful today." So I thought, wow, finally a nice compliment from a man. But then he said, "I don't think your mom is good enough for you. You deserve a better life." And I was like, yeah, but she's not cheating or doing anything bad. Then he said, "She doesn't love you anymore. She only married my dad because he was rich. I can make you happy." And I was just so naive because I never had any male attention before, let alone from such a hot guy. So I fell into his trap and we ended up sleeping together. But after our first time, he told me that I was a virgin and that I wouldn't be able to get a good husband if people knew. So then he made me get an abortion and I was furious. He ruined my innocence. He did all of this to me, but then he said, "Now we're even." Even though I was still angry at him, I decided to go along with it. We kept seeing each other, and one day he introduced me to his dad. His dad was very cold and distant, but it didn't matter because I already had a soft spot for Harry. Fast forward 3 years and he proposes to me. He says, "You know, you're different from all the other girls I've dated. I want to marry you." And I actually thought to myself, wow, maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe Harry's right. I'm just making a big deal out of nothing. So I accepted his proposal. At this point, I had no idea what kind of monster I was dealing with. 1 month after our wedding night, he tells me, "We need to talk." And I asked him why he had this serious tone in his voice, and he just said, "There's something I need to tell you, but I don't know how." I said, "Harry, what is it?" And he started crying. He said, "I have something really important to tell you, but I'm afraid it will ruin everything we built together." And I said, "Harry, just please tell me. What is going on?" And he said, "I haven't been honest with you. I lied to you about something important." He stopped talking and stared at the floor, and I said, "Harry, please, just tell me." But he kept quiet, and I was furious. The next day I went to his dad's house because he lived there with his dad, and I could see that both of them were trying to hide something from me, so I kept asking them questions, but neither of them would answer. They just kept avoiding the topic. And then I saw a private text conversation between them. I couldn't believe my eyes. It said, "What should I tell her? I feel so guilty." And the dad said, "No, you did nothing wrong. It was the best thing for you. You don't have to worry about her anymore." And I was shocked. I thought to myself, what did I miss? What is going on here? Why are they hiding something from me? Then I went to their bedroom to check his phone again. I found out that Harry had been having an affair with his dad's wife, his own stepmother. I was devastated. I thought to myself, I'm just a fool. Why would I ever think that he was the one? I felt betrayed by everyone. I cried every day. I hated myself. One day I got a call from Harry's dad. He told me, "You're a woman, so I don't want to talk to you about this. It's all in your head. You shouldn't think too much about it." And I said, "You're disgusting. Why are you treating me like this?" But he didn't listen. He kept telling me that I was crazy and that I had to stop calling him. I was desperate. I needed to talk to someone about this, but I didn't know anyone. I was completely alone. I contacted my cousin and she took me to the police station. When I told the police about what happened, they laughed in my face and said, "Oh, you silly girl, you're just jealous because your husband wants a divorce." But I insisted that they investigate the case, but they ignored me. I remember shoving a police officer and he tackled me to the ground. Then I ran out of the station crying, and that's when I bumped into a lawyer named Robert. He asked me what happened, and I explained everything to him. He said, "Don't worry, I'll help you." And I thought to myself, finally, someone who understands. He took me to court, and the judge ordered a DNA test to prove that Harry was lying about me being pregnant. The results came back negative. Robert told me not to worry and that he would appeal the decision. But after that, he disappeared. I didn't hear from him for weeks. I tried calling him, but he never answered. One day I went to his office, and that's when I found out that he had stolen all my money. He took my life savings and left me penniless. I was desperate. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't believe that everyone had betrayed me. One day I was watching TV and I saw this advert for this self-help seminar. It said, "Stop being a victim and start being a survivor." So I thought, maybe this will help me. I went to the seminar and the speaker said something that really inspired me. She said, "You have to become the most feared woman in the world." And I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do. After the seminar, I read all these books on law and strategy. I learned everything I could about becoming a lawyer. I studied for years, and eventually I passed the bar exam. I became one of the best lawyers in the country. And then I went back to that small town where everyone had made fun of me. I found those same judges and police officers who had humiliated me, and I sued them. I used my knowledge of the law to make them pay for what they had done to me. In the end, I got everything I wanted. I got revenge on everyone who had betrayed me. But I still felt empty inside. That's when I realized that I had to move on. I had to let go of the past and focus on the future. So now I travel around the world helping other women who have been through similar experiences. I teach them how to become strong and independent so they can make a difference in the world. Thank you for listening and see you in the next video.